Hey guys, welcome back. Now, there is a big buildup of energy happening in the crypto market, meaning a big move is coming. However, question is, in which direction? Now, it's important to remember at this exact point in the last two pre-halving years, Bitcoin had big drops of 24% and 37%. So a big drop around now is historically what the crypto market does. And as painful or frustrating as this may be, it may be the last best buying opportunity that we ever get. Now, each month, the crypto team at Ark Invest do their analysis on the market, and this month was very interesting. And so in this video, as always, we'll be covering the biggest takeaways, including the 3 key price levels we should all be paying attention to right now, then where are interest rates going next, and when is the Fed pivot going to be, and then we'll finish with the data from a basket of leading indicators. Where does that say markets are headed next? Okay, so first up, we're going to take a look at 3 key price levels for the crypto market, and it's also what many of the top institutional investors will be keeping an eye on. Okay, so got 6 charts to run through, and the first one are these key price levels. And we are looking at Bitcoin's price in black, and we have the 200-week moving average, which is almost about 4 years. We have the short-term holders, and then we have the realized price, which is the average price that the market overall has got in at. So let's just start with the 200-week moving average in green. So what can we see? Well, since 2017, historically, the price has been way above the 200-week moving average. In the last big bear market and crypto winter, it did come down to this level before jumping back off. In COVID, we had a small break below it, and then it was above it for quite a long time. In this current crypto winter, it did break below. Obviously, in hindsight, this was an amazing time to buy. And as of right now, this price is sitting at around $27,000. And anyone who's been following Bitcoin over the past few weeks and even months knows it's been dancing around this level. Now, next is the short-term holders. So this cohort are people who have held just for a couple of months. So only held for a short time, and you'll notice this actually is very close to what the price is doing, much closer. And the level of the short-term holder right now is 27,800. So they are just dancing around profit and loss, and a very similar price to the 200-week moving average. And then finally, we have the realized price, another very key figure. And this figure sits around $20,000. And as we all know, this really is a huge figure and acting as a massive level of support for Bitcoin. And it's so key that in fact, the last all-time high, the market below off top, was also around this level. And right now, the price is pretty much bouncing between these figures. Next up, and now we are looking at the long-term holders of Bitcoin. And to be a long-term holder, I believe Ark Invest measure this by people who have held more than 5 months. And unlike the short-term holders, this is definitely more of the smarter money, as this time there's an inverse relationship between the price. So you'll notice that in the big crashes, the long-term holders are accumulating in this nice inverse pattern. And when the price shoots up, the long-term holders then distribute. And this pretty much repeats. As the price comes down, the long-term holders accumulate. So it's definitely the smarter thing to do. As the price starts going parabolic, long-term holders start selling. So this is, as you can see, a much smarter way of playing the crypto market. You definitely want to be a long-term holder. And interestingly, right now, this is pretty much sitting very, very close to all-time highs. So this is actually showing strength for the Bitcoin market, as more and more people are holding on to their Bitcoin, as they know prices at these levels are getting close to being an absolute bargain. Next up. So this one is the realized profits to the realized cap. And essentially what it's showing, obviously we have the price again in the background, and it shows people taking profits. And the main thing to take a look at is this gray bar going through here. And what you'll notice is that it very, very rarely gets into this level. And this level basically shows that it's oversold. So in the big crashes, once the price gets to a certain point, it becomes really oversold. Or the flip side, really undervalued. Again, the deepest crashes, really oversold, being very undervalued. And then if we look, there was another period where it was really oversold, and we are just about to tip into it once again. So if we do get another drop in price pushing down to the $20,000 level, it's going to be a very rare buying opportunity. Now, moving on to the bigger macro picture that crypto operates in, and everyone is looking at these crazy high interest rates and rate hikes that we've all been going through. And this chart nicely shows what's coming next. So here we are right now, and as we can see, the Fed is due to start cutting rates about middle of next year. This is when the rate cuts will start happening, and the plan is for them to come down to around the 4% level. However, there's no plans for any major drops back to 2%, 1%, close to zero. And this goes out all the way to April 2027. So this is the official plan. What these lines are here is just how much it's changing. So the longest period was 18 weeks ago, and it was forecast they were going to be cutting quicker, cutting faster. As we get closer to today, it keeps getting revised, keeps getting revised, later rate cuts, so staying higher for longer. However, my big prediction is that this plan isn't going to happen. I think something is likely going to break in the next 3 to 6 months, whether this could be the next round of banks going under, it could be a stock market crash, and I think the Fed pivot will happen as a knee-jerk reaction to something breaking. So this is the official plan, but I don't think it's going to pan out that way. It just never ever does. Next up, this is a nice long-term chart going back to 2009, and it's showing the strength of the dollar. And what's interesting is from January 2014, look at the trend. Even though it's been getting stronger and weaker, there is definitely an upwards trend. And most recently, the dollar has also been on a big run, but as crisis hits the world, people still flock to the dollar for safety. Now, if you're living in the US, then you know that the dollar is actually losing value, but that's from your perspective. When you look at lots of countries outside, especially emerging markets, where their currency has been crashing 30, 50+%, then the dollar is actually a safe place to be, which is why it's showing strength. And then another benefit of a high dollar price is that imports then become cheaper. So this is going to help bring down inflation. And then finally, we finish up with a very interesting index, the leading economic index, known as the LEI. And basically, this is a basket of different measurements of leading indicators. So this includes things about job reports, about sales. There's 10 different things that go into it. And what's interesting is that the LEI has had something like 12 or 14 consecutive drops in a row, and this signals a recession is coming. So as you can see, you get the big drops and it signals recession. You get these huge drops, it signals recession. and again here, and this is what it's showing again. So a whole basket of leading indicators is also pointing to recession. Each month, the crypto team at Ark Invest release their analysis on the market. Bitcoin right now is sitting between the big resistance of around $28,000 and the massive support level, which is $20,000 to the downside. Now, I remember when $20,000 for Bitcoin was a crazy high price and the big blow off top of the previous bull market. And right now, $20,000 seems crazy low, and many people would love to be buying at that price. How things change, right? The Fed pivot officially won't be happening until about mid next year, so the macro headwinds will continue for the remainder of this year. And I will make a big prediction right now. I think something big is going to happen, something's gonna break, some more banks will go under, or the stock market will crash, and the Fed will be forced to pivot sooner. However, the basket of leading indicators, the LEI, is also indicating a recession is coming. And finally, we must remember that in both pre-halving years of 2015 and 2019, Bitcoin dropped 25% and 37%. So probably best to mentally prepare for that scenario. And for those with money, it will be an excellent buying opportunity in the height of the fear. And for those without money, don't worry, digital assets will have their time in the sun once again. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Now tell me, what was your biggest takeaway from all of this? Let me know below. However, just remember to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments. We are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use SuperThanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.